Hello, fifth grade. We're going to be talking about copyright rules today and the do's and don'ts of everything copyright. Copyright means that it's the protection of creative works and their originators from others reproducing, selling, or copying their creative expressions. This could be books, movies, videos, art, anything that can be created by someone can be protected by copyright. We'll be covering 4 different sections today: consumers and creators, protection, fair use, and the do's and don'ts of copywriting. Number 1 is consumers and creators. We can all be consumers and creators of copyrighted work. Sitting here in this class, all 5th grade can be consumers of these copyrighted materials. So this might be a movie you watch with your family, might be a TikTok that you watch. It could be a book, a YouTube video. Any material that someone creates can have a copyright on it. Okay? You can also be creators of this material. Anything creative, expression of art, anything that you create with your own 2 hands, your mind, your brain, you can get copyrighted. So you're kind of on both sides of this coin, right? And you consume material and you can be a creator of these. So be thinking about that as we go through the presentation. So creators specifically, copyright was created to protect these people, right, from getting their work stolen or recreated by others. Many think that it drives artists, musicians, authors, and all other creators to be more original, come up with new material, new things that make life more exciting or interesting, or that haven't been read or heard or watched before. This drives their creativity because they have to come up with something new and fresh instead of copying someone else's work. Number 2, protection. What does copyright protect? So it's a wide umbrella that copyright protects, but here are just a few. There's books, novels, magazines, textbooks and newspapers, movies, TV shows, YouTube videos, plays, websites, games, articles, research papers, photographs, art, music, and graphic designs. Okay? All of these were created by someone, right? Those creators we were talking about before. And these are the materials that they created. These can all have copyright on them. And that means they're just under the protection, so they are not getting pieces taken from them, copied, or reproduced to be sold. Okay? So any book you might read in class from our library might be copyrighted, right? And so that means that we can't just go to the photocopier, put it on there, and copy it and kind of sell it or reproduce it for other people to read. We only have that copy and we paid money for it, and that's how we have the privilege of reading it from our libraries. Same thing with our articles, movies. Okay? Can't just take parts and pieces of it and make it your own or try to sell it or reproduce it in any way. That's why we have this copyright protection. Now, what copyright does not protect from is any ideas. So any creator that just comes up with an idea does not mean that you have copyright protection, right? Anyone in our world can have an idea and it's not copyrighted. You won't get in trouble if you're talking about or taking other people's ideas. It's not under copyright protection. Also, facts. Any kind of news or information that is a fact is not copyrighted because we use those facts to help support evidence, both in maybe 5th grade when we're testing, right? Or even in the news, right? If you watch the news at night, they're providing facts. Those aren't copyrighted either because they need that information to help inform their readers or their watchers or anything like that. And then the last 2 I think are really interesting. Government documents and reports cannot be copyrighted. And then NASA's photos also cannot be copyrighted. And this is because it's public material. Anyone can go look at these documents or reports, same with the photos. And so they are distributed without a copyright because they're open to the public. When is it okay to copy? Okay, so copyright stops us from copying and reproducing information. And these are the 3 ways that it's okay for us as 5th graders to maybe copy, reword, or take information and use it for our benefit. So the first one is research. So this might be a research paper, presentation, something that you're researching for school. Okay. Now, you do need to cite this information for a research paper or presentation and give the creator credit. Okay? And we've gone over citations before and how that looks. But when you're doing research, it is okay to quote or take information directly from someone's article, book, movie, and put it into your research paper as long as you cite it, right? Give me a citation page. You make sure it's in quotations and it's cited in the passage or paper or presentation. So you're generally giving credit to the person that actually created it, and you're not using the whole paper, right? You're only using parts or pieces that will help support your evidence. Next is news reports. Again, it's sharing that facts and information with people, and everyone can benefit from that. And so it's okay to copy those things. Again, it's good practice to cite that information, tell me where you got it from, and make sure you have that cited in your presentation or information packet. Last but not least is teachers. Teachers actually and students have a little bit of leeway and they can use bigger excerpts or they can refresh information into their own words to relay information to students to get kind of bigger ideas across. Again, we should be crediting people and not using whole text or whole books or anything like that. But we have a little bit more leeway than others, especially teachers and students. I was actually, when I was in college for interior design, I did a portfolio that they made me put it up online, and I had using a photo from a site for my portfolio, and it was copyrighted. And luckily, I was a student and I was using it for educational purposes. I wasn't getting any money from my portfolio. I wasn't using to sell my like business or anything like that. And so the person contacted me that owned the photo and asked me to take it down, which I did, of course, happily because they didn't want it up anymore. But I also didn't get charged with copyright because I was still a student and I was kind of falling under that it's okay to copy section. But I did take it down because the creator asked me to. Now, there's 2 forms of like good and bad to copyright. There's the public domain, and then there's copyright infringement. Public domain is creations and books and photos, anything that can be created. Anyone can use the public domain materials. This might look like art, photographs, or music that does not have a copyright or trademark. Creators sometimes manufacture these items to use publicly. Okay, they just put them out there for free for the public, or sometimes the copyright runs out on a specific item and it gets kind of thrown into the public domain. Okay, and so you can use these materials as long as they are not copyrighted and they're open for you to use freely without worry. And that's a great place to kind of look. If you type in public domain and photographs, you will find a bunch of different sites that put out free materials for students and things like that. And it's a great place to get your materials. Then there's the copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is when a copyright agreement is broken in some shape or form. So like Miss Frey breaking her agreement by taking that photo when it was copyrighted. Now, I kind of got away with it because I was a student, but I was still breaking that rule, right? But we did come up with a solution. In this case, we negotiated. I took it down, told her I was a student, and she was okay with it. But this also can go all the way up to court and be solved there if you're not kind of negotiating and finding things out on your own. Last but not least, there's the do's and don'ts of copywriting. The do's Do cite who or where you found your information. Do use small quotes or passages from the material you're using, and do write information in your own words. That's super important. If you're going to use someone else's information, make sure it's in your own words, not directly copied from the site, unless you're going to put quotations around it. And then it should be very small quotes or small little excerpts. The don'ts are: don't use someone's work to make money. Don't copy direct information without citation. Don't copy and paste ever. And don't assume the information is fair use. Okay, just like Miss Frey did with that picture. Thought it was fair use, it wasn't. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions, make sure to ask me, your teacher, or me later. And I cited where I got my presentation template down below. Have a good day.